For Maya Erd's bat mitzvah project, she wanted to do something for children who were less fortunate than herself. So she and her mother headed over to a Silver Spring warehouse to gather up some soccer equipment.
These are size 9 soccer cleats.
For some children in Ethiopia.
I would just grab some bags and start piling stuff in there.
We've been supporting a family there, a young girl really, and for many years. And when her bat mitzvah came up, we had decided, or Maya really had decided, that she wanted to help them get soccer equipment, because what you had heard about what they were playing.
Oh, they play soccer, and most of them don't have anything, so it's like they're just like stepping on rocks, and they might have like one ball that's like flat, but that's about it.
They reached out to Max Levitt, founder of Leveling the Playing Field, a nonprofit that gives underprivileged kids the chance to enjoy playing sports. It all started when Levitt was the equipment manager for the Syracuse University football team.
I walked into the equipment room for the first time, and I was like, my eyes were wide open. I couldn't believe how much stuff was surrounding me. And then, the crazy thing was, at the end of the season, my boss would literally tell me and my coworkers to throw away everything that was in the equipment room. Why? Well, because we're getting $3 million worth of brand new Nike gear every single year. When it comes in August for the football season, where do we put it on the shelves, right? There's no room on the shelves for anything. You know how many of these we get?
How many?
Probably 100 plus.
Levitt also spent his summers working for the Montgomery County Department of Recreation, where there was no shortage of gear and much of it sat unused.
So if you look at this, 90% of this stuff comes from individual families.
And then there were his friends who had long since graduated from college, and their sports gear was still sitting in their parents' garage.
So I started thinking, gosh, this is kind of big. There is a huge amount of sporting equipment in society that is just sitting around gathering dust or being thrown away. And, again, what do you do with it? Thanks for taking the interest. So what sports do you play? So let's talk about lacrosse. What equipment do you need for lacrosse? Right, and that probably costs, what, like $100, $150? Unfortunately, for a lot of families, it's really hard to provide that equipment for their daughter.
Max Levitt grew up in Montgomery County in the Jewish community, where giving back to the less fortunate was a value he was taught. He spent a lot of time volunteering in Baltimore, D.C., and overseas, and was very familiar with the struggles of children who live in poverty. He also knows how important playing sports can be to a child's development.
When I found out that a growing number of kids weren't playing sports, and one of the major factors was equipment, to me it was like, well, duh, right? If there is mass amounts of equipment sitting in our community that's going to waste or being thrown away, and at the same time, sometimes a mile away, there's a kid coming home and asking his parents if he can play baseball, and after looking at dicksportinggoods.com, the parents come back and say absolutely not. Yeah. This is an obvious solution.
Today, Leveling the Playing Field has enlisted more than 500 volunteers, and in the last 3 years has donated more than $1.4 million in equipment to more than 250 programs across the region.
This is from the National Football League, who called us last week and had some gear sitting around there looking to give away to a charity, and wanted to know if they could just ship it on over to us.
Levitt receives boxes of new and used equipment on a daily basis.
This is like as nice a cleat as you're gonna find for football. Brand new. You got some non-printed NFL jerseys.
The organization has partnered with DC United and the Capitals, and recently had its first hockey equipment distribution. Levitt says there is a process to receiving an equipment grant for Leveling the Playing Field, and he pays a visit to every program they make a donation to.
And once they're accepted into our program, the great thing is our doors are open to them. Because if we're doing our jobs right, their sports program, their opportunities are growing. So as their opportunities grow, more kids are getting involved. They come to us, some of them come every month just to get a pair of cleats for a kid who just joined and needs them. So we have programs come in here all the time to get odds and ends, and then once a year we give them a bigger distribution before the program starts. So a lot of times it does end up with an individual kid.
Right.
But we work through those programs to make sure it's going to the right cause.
The county has been a big supporter of this nonprofit, awarding grant funding which helped Levitt secure the warehouse he currently operates from. Councilmember Hans Reamer has 2 young sons. one of whom plays baseball. He says organizations like Levitt's help the community bridge the gap when the high cost of participating in youth sports prevents a child from being a part of a team.
A lot of kids don't have that money at home. They have trouble raising that money to make a team. That's why I just love this leveling the playing field idea, that you might be down with your glove, your bat might be too small this year, but there's a lot of kids out there that can use that equipment. Don't let it sit in the closet. Don't just put it on the basement and let it just collect dust. Let some other kids play with it. Reuse those assets, and Leveling the Playfield's a great program. I'm really happy the county council was able to fund that, because it's making this county a better place to live.
The demand for what we're doing is growing almost monthly. So I mean, this year alone, in I think like 120, 130 days, we got one today, so we're at 66 proposals from programs we haven't helped before, many in the county. So that means we're getting a proposal every other day. Wow. And that's on top of the 250 programs we've helped to this point.
You want to take these little ones?
Yeah, sure.
These are 250 programs that we don't just help and then say bye. We have 250 programs, many of which come in here on, we have people in here every day getting equipment for their programs, odds and ends. That's pretty typical for us, so it's only going to grow.
Max Levitt says he believes Leveling the Playing Field is the only equipment donation organization of its kind in the country. This 27-year-old wants to eventually bring his business model to more cities. He says it's a no-brainer, that it makes perfect sense.
We're not doing hedge funds here. I saw a systematic problem in the youth sports industry that I felt had a very simple solution. So how can someone who has even a little bit of civic mindedness see such a major issue that has such a simple solution and not do something about it? I don't aspire to run a local charity. I don't. I aspire to run a national charity. I don't see why this can't become like a Toys for Tots. I mean, this has been done before. We've already proven that this works, that this helps kids get involved in athletics. We've done it to over 80,000 kids in 3 years, almost 4 years, with one person and only 2 people for the last 8 months. It's not hard to pull off.
This simple idea, where just a ball or a glove can mean a child gets an opportunity.
And one of the things you wanted to do was make a donation.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate
And
it.
this is from her. And
Thank you very much.
truly.
Appreciate it. Yeah, spread the word. Spread the word. I got to play every sport I wanted to growing up. I had every opportunity dropped at my feet, whether it was sports or a tutor because I wasn't good at math, or a speech pathologist when I was young. I mean, I was given every opportunity to be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Well, I'm hoping to see you guys again.
Thank you. You'll see us again.